Good morning, children. So today our topic is solution. Okay, because already we are continuing with the water topic. So we have seen the different types of solutions, diluted solution, concentrated, saturated, unsaturated, all those things. Today we are going to see two topics. One is concentration of a solution and solubility of a solution. So before going into the topic, let us recollect what we have already learned about solution. Now, what is a solution? A solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances is called as a solution. Then we classified that, we learnt about true solutions, suspensions, colloids, all those things we learned. So today, let us begin with a new topic, concentration of a solution. What is meant by concentration of a solution? Concentration of a solution is the amount of solute dissolved in a given quantity of a solution. I am repeating it again. It is the amount of solute dissolved in a given quantity of the solution. We call it as the concentration of a solution. The concentration of a solution can be expressed in two different ways. One is mass percent and the second one is volume percent. Okay, the mass percent and volume percent. Now, let us see what is meant by this both mass percent and volume percent. So, before going into that, we will make still more clear about the concentration of a solution. Okay, so what I am going to do is, we are going to prepare a solution. How to prepare a solution now? We have taken 100 grams of solvent and we have also taken 36 gram of a salt. That is nothing but our solute. Imagine we are preparing a solution. What is the solution? It is a mixture of solvent and solute. Now, to prepare a solution, what we are doing is, we are taking 100 gram of solvent that is taken in a tumbler and we are taking some amount of salt, that is 36 gram of salt we are just taking, and we are adding it, we are stirring and we are dissolving it. Our solution is ready. Now, I want to know the concentration of a solution. Now, we already know that 36 gram of the substance is dissolved in 100 gram of a solvent. Now, let us see how to calculate the concentration. So, concentration of a solution is given by the formula mass of the solute by mass of the solution into 100. Now, what is the first one? Mass of solute taken. How much gram of salt we took? 36 gram of salt. Second one, what is the formula? Then again we have to find out mass of solution. What is meant by solution? Solution means it is a combination of both solute and solvent. How much of solvent we took? 100 grams. How much of solute we took? 36 grams. So what is the mass of the solution? 100 plus 36 is equal to 136. So how to find out the concentration? What is the formula? Mass of a solute divided by mass of the solution into 100, because we are calculating in percent. So 36 divided by 136 into 100. So 26.47 is the concentration of a solution. This is called as mass percent. When we will consider the mass percent, we will consider the mass percent to calculate the concentration of a solution when the solute is a solid. Now you are very clear with the picture. We have taken a salt to dissolve. Suppose if our both the component of a solution is only solvent. For example, alcohol is dissolved in water. Okay, then how to find out the concentration? So we have to go for the second one, that is volume percent. So when is volume percent is used? It is mostly used when the solute and the solvent are liquids. We are supposed to use volume percent. So what is the volume percent formula? The volume percent is defined as the volume of solute in ml present in 100 ml of a solution. It is used when both the solute and solvent are liquids. Both the solute and solvent are liquids. Okay. So let us see the formula for volume percent. So the formula is volume of solute divided by volume of solution into 100. Volume of solution into 100. Okay. Now let us assume that. Now you can have a notebook in your hand. Let me tell you the calculation. Just you have to note down volume of a solute. So suppose I am going to take 10 ml of alcohol. So what is the volume of solute? 10 ml. I am going to add 90 ml of water to that. How much of water I am going to add? 90 ml of water. So let us take the formula. Volume of solute is what? 10. What is the volume of solution? Volume of the solution is nothing but volume of solute plus solvent, that is 10 plus 90, that is 100. Okay, multiplied by 100 because the form we are out to convert. So 10 into 100 by 100, that is nothing but 10%. That means 10 ml of alcohol was taken and it is diluted to form 100 ml. That is the meaning of the statement volume percent. So these are the two ways by which we can calculate the concentration of a solution. Now we have to be very clear here. Mass of a solution. Mass of a solution means mass of the solute plus mass of the solvent. We call it as the mass of the solution. What is meant by volume of a solution? We have to be very clear. Here is what the students make a mistake. Why? Because they don't calculate the solution, the word they don't calculate it. They just put solute on the top and solvent below, but that is wrong. So we have to be very, very clear. Mass of the solute divided by mass of the solution. Volume of the solute divided by volume of the solution, and both we have to multiply by 100 in order to convert into a percentage. I think now we are clear with the calculation of concentration of a solution. Now let us see about the solubility. Okay, we are going to see about the solubility. What is meant by, because this I think solubility we have already done in one of the slides. Again let us continue with the solubility. What is solubility? The solubility of a solute in a particular solvent at a given temperature is equivalent to the maximum number of grams of the solute necessary to saturate 100 gram of that solvent at that particular temperature. So, the solubility of a solute, or we are taking a solute, for example, any salt, and we are taking a solvent, any solvent for that matter, 100 ml of any solvent we are taking, and we are trying to dissolve that particular salt in the solvent till it forms a saturated solution at a particular temperature. Now, this amount of the solute that gets dissolved is called as the solubility of that particular solute. Okay, solubility of that particular solute. So, solubility of a particular solubility at a particular temperature is defined as the maximum amount of solute in grams that can be dissolved in 100 gram of the solvent at that temperature and 1 atmospheric pressure. See, why we are specifically telling about temperature? You know that temperature is going to affect solubility, and also the pressure is also going to affect the solubility. So, it is 1 atmospheric pressure, that is nothing but the standard atmospheric pressure of 760 mm mercury, and that particular temperature, it may be a lab temperature or the temperature at which we are doing the experiment can be considered. So, solubility of a salt at 35 degrees Celsius is this. Solubility of a salt at 25 degrees is going to be this much grams per 100 ml. So, your solvent volume is the same, that is only 100 grams. But your temperature and pressure you can vary and you can give the solubility. Now, the solubility will be different at different substances dissolved to different extent in a same volume of a given solvent. Different substances dissolve to a different extent in the same volume of a given solvent. For example, let me take 100 gram of water. Okay, I can add sodium nitrate, I can add potassium nitrate, I can add sodium chloride, different salts. So, will the solubility will be the same for all the salts in 100 gram of water? No, it is not going to be that. So, the solubility of different substances is different. Okay, for a given solvent. What is the given solvent I have taken? I have taken water. I have given the in the lab we are taking 3 salts. For example, we are taking sodium nitrate, we are taking potassium nitrate, we are taking sodium chloride. Okay, will the solubility in the 100 gram of water will be the same? No. So there are different solubilities. What are the different solubilities? It may be insoluble, sparingly soluble and soluble. So these 3 terms we are supposed to know. Okay, what is meant by this? Insoluble, sparingly soluble and soluble. Now let us look into the first picture. You can see in a beaker, in a water, the salt is taken and the salt is completely settled at the bottom. That means it is insoluble. That means it is insoluble. The second picture you can see, salt dissolves in water. That means we know it is completely soluble. Okay, now when it is insoluble, we call it as negligibly soluble. A substance that has negligibly it is soluble, then it is only we call it as insoluble. That means sometimes we use the word negligibly soluble, that means it is insoluble. Okay, soluble, you know. In between the two lies the term sparingly soluble. What is this sparingly soluble? That is what I have taken the next picture. That is nothing but you can see the descriptive term and the parts of the solvent required per 1 part of the solute. Okay. Now let us go to the fourth point there, sparingly soluble. When you take the sparingly soluble, it means what? 30 to 100 part of a solvent is required for 1 part of a solute. So 1 part of a solute, example, let us take 1 gram. For that 1 gram of that solute, it may require 30 to 100 gram of a solvent to dissolve. If that is the condition, then we call it as sparingly soluble. There are different levels of solubility, but only in our textbooks it is given only 3. That is why we are going to only soluble, insoluble and sparingly soluble. Insoluble is otherwise called as negligibly soluble also. So just you have to know these terminologies. Now, let us go to the factors that affect solubility. So, solubility of a substance will not always be uniform. So, 2 factors we have already said is, one is temperature, the other one is pressure. The next one which can affect the solubility of a solid is the size of the particles. For example, when the particle size is small, okay, when the particle size is small, it dissolves very faster. For example, you have the powdered salt also, you have crystal salt also in your home. Imagine you have powdered salt and crystal salt. Take just 50 ml of water in a glass and try to dissolve both. You will automatically find out that the salt which is powdered, it will dissolve faster when compared to the crystal salt. Why? Because the powdered salt has a larger surface area to come in contact with water. That is the reason. So, size of the particles definitely is going to affect the solubility. Stirring. Suppose we are going to make a juice in a cold condition. So, what do? We stir it. We stir it so that it dissolves faster. So, stirring brings the solvent and solute contact more. The contact between the solute and the solvent happens when you are going to stir it. What is the first statement I said for size of the solute particles? I said the surface area will be more exposed when the particle size becomes very small. That is the reason it dissolves faster. Same way stirring, it brings more contact between the solute and the solvent. Again, the solubility of is also affected by the temperature. For solids to dissolve in a liquid, you can heat it, it will dissolve faster. But the solubility of a gas in a liquid decreases with the temperature. Already we have learned that why the boiled water is very flat in taste. In the lower classes you would have learned. When we take the water and we boil it, what happens? The gas escapes when it boils. That is what we have learned. So, when the temperature increases, automatically the solubility of the gases decreases. But whereas the solubility of the solid increases. Nature of the solvent. You are taking a solvent. For example, you are taking alcohol. You are taking water. You are taking acid. And you take a salt. The solubility of the salt will not be the same in alcohol and acid and water. It differs. So, nature of the solvent is also a criteria which affects solubility. Pressure, you know that when you apply the pressure, it is very easy for us to dissolve the gases also. So pressure affects the solubility of gases also. Now, the last part that we are going to see now is the solubility curve. What is meant by a solubility curve? That is what you are seeing in the picture now. A solubility curve is a linear graph that plots changes in solubility of a solute in a solvent against changing temperature. I repeat again. So you are seeing a graph there. What does it show? Okay, let us take a straight line which is between 30 and 40 degrees. You can see a straight line of NaCl. Can you see there? Yes, you can note down in the graph. Okay, it is a straight line. That means what? When the temperature is increased from 0 to 100 degrees Celsius, the sodium chloride remains as a straight line. That means the solubility of sodium chloride doesn't vary at all. The solubility of sodium chloride does not vary. Okay, now let us take the yellow color line which is showing potassium nitrate. You can see the solubility of potassium nitrate from 10 degrees to 100 degrees. That is, even at 60 degrees it shows a maximum level. That means it is rising as the temperature increases. So what is the solubility graph shows? The changes in the solubility of a particular solute. You are taking a solute. How does the solubility of that particular solute changes in a solvent? In a solvent. What is the solvent which is preferred in our graph is? Can you make out from our graph what is the solvent that is being taken? It is nothing but it is shown in the y-axis, solubility in grams per 100 gram of water. So what is the solvent taken? The solvent taken in our graph is water. Okay, and the solvent taken in our graph is water. What is the range of temperature that is taken in the x-axis? From 0 to 100 degrees Celsius. Temperature is taken in terms of degrees Celsius. So what does the solubility curve show us? The solubility curve shows us the difference in the solubility of a particular solute in a given solvent when we vary the temperature. From this we can interpret a lot of things. Why is this solubility curve very important? Because it helps us to determine the solubility of a substance at a particular temperature. At the particular temperature, what will be the solubility of the particular substance? That we can find out. We can compare the solubility of two different salts. Okay, at a particular temperature. On cooling, how does the salt behave? On heating, how does the salt behaves? So all these interpretations can be found out using this particular graph. Okay, during the solubility, in an endothermic process, the solubility of a solute increases with increase in a temperature, and in an exothermic process, the solubility increases on lowering the temperature. This also is a very important criteria. It is if the particular process is an endothermic process, because endothermic means what? The heat is taken in, the solubility increases with the rise in temperature. Whereas in an exothermic process, the solubility increases on only lowering the temperature. So please go through this graph very clearly. It's a very important graph for us to remember. So with this, this video I am concluding this. So next there are problems given in your textbook. Try to learn it, but we will do the one or two. I'll try to do it in the video, or if you are not comfortable, we'll continue with the next text there and we'll start the problems later. But so these problems are important, so kindly go through it, and I will try to put a video for 2 or 3 problems, and I will give you some other problems as homework, and try to watch the video regularly.